Importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the sixth branch of the armed forces. That's a big statement. Aliens are going to be gone fast. The American astronaut embodied the incredible spirit of America, the confidence of a cowboy, the skill of a fighter pilot, the ambition of a scientist, and the courage of a true, brilliant, tough warrior.
We are going in with first wave. You smash the entire area. You kill anything that has you get me? We get you, sir.
But they will face an enemy more devastating than any ever imagined.
Does the president believe in the existence of UFOs?
Somehow that question hasn't come up in our back and forth over the last couple days, but I will check into that and be happy to circle back.
And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
We're under attack, sir. We need retrieval now.
We're going to have the Space Force.
Someone made a damn mistake.
Somebody criticized me the other day because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. They've got to be stopped.
TriStar Pictures takes you to the front lines.
Get them out of here! Get out!
Kill them all.
Space Force.
Troopers.
There is absolutely nothing Americans can't do. When we get together, there's nobody even close.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Drink the astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon.
Why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Sabro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
Of course. I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get
I'm heading out. I appreciate it.
And get the hell out of the house.
Well, take your stuff and get the fuck out. Why don't you quote me and say it's bullshit?
I mean, the shadows in Iraq. I don't give a damn about all that shit.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
You want me to knock you in the head?
Well, I want you to swear to God on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Okay.
If you walked on the moon, we're given the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you if you don't leave me alone.
Oh, yeah. Tractor beam. Sucked me right in.
I was going to say thank you very much. I mean, that's, as a science journalist, my question is, through your career and your writing and your acting, you've inspired so many people to enter the sciences. How do you balance science with science fiction? They're both the same.
I'm excited about it, and the idea is to democratize space, to lower the cost of getting to many destinations in our solar system. And the reason you do this, everybody, the reason a society does this, there are two questions, Lauren, that we have all asked. Where did we come from? How did we all get here? Where did we come from? And are we alone in the universe? And if you want to answer those two questions, you have to explore space.
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. We'd have way better CGI if it was fake. And, you know, the colors all look kind of weird in space. There's no atmospheric occlusion. like everything looks too crisp. I mean, it's kind of silly and fun, but I think that's, silly fun things are important, and I think that's just the imagery of it is something that's going to get people excited around the world. And it's still tripping me out. I mean, I'm tripping balls here. Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake. And it's still tripping me out because it looks so fake, honestly.
I'm Fraser Kane, the publisher of Universe Today. Let's look close to home, in orbit around the planet at the International Space Station. A piece of bare metal in space under constant sunlight can get as hot as 260 degrees Celsius. This is dangerous to astronauts who have to work outside the station. If they need to handle bare metal, they wrap it in special coatings or blankets to protect themselves. And yet in the shade, an object will cool down to minus 100 degrees Celsius. Astronauts can experience vast differences in temperature between the side facing the sun and the side in shadow. Their spacesuits compensate using heaters and cooling systems.
The next question from Marcia Dunn at Associated Press.
Marcia Dunn, AP. What was going through your mind? How amazed were you to see your roadster up there with Starman just cruising along with the blue planet? And how long will we be getting live views, do you think, from the car?
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible.
A piece of bare metal in space under constant sunlight can get as hot as 260 degrees Celsius.
And but we didn't really test any of those materials for, is it space hardened or whatever, So it just has the same seats that like a normal car has. It's just literally a normal car in space, which I kind of like the absurdity of that.
A piece of bare metal in space under constant sunlight can get as hot as 260 degrees Celsius.
But we didn't really test any of those materials for, is it space hardened or whatever, So it just has the same seats that like a normal car has. It's just literally a normal car in space.
This is how hot it is in Italy. The car has melted. It's actually melted everything, the mirror, the lights.
Watching them lie through their teeth, carrying on a hoax that is so outrageous that they're beyond human. They couldn't cover it up. They were just too human.
Exactly. You can see on Neil Armstrong particularly, he doesn't want to lie. This guy just doesn't want to lie.
No.
He's looking down. He just doesn't want to say anything. This is why he didn't give any interviews for the rest of his life.
Look at that. Please do look at that, folks. YouTube video of the first Apollo crew to come back at press conference. It's really embarrassing. I mean, it's just embarrassing. The lie was so big that they really couldn't fake it that well. It was too much for them.
And all of that happened in a little town called York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now.
We are headed 3,600 miles above Earth, 15 times higher from the planet than the International Space Station. As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation.
But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation.
Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. For this flight, it's time to head home.
Yes, indeed. They've got the flag up now. And you can
the United States has shunned the Paris Climate Agreement, but it has big plans beyond planet Earth.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
President Trump wants to send American astronauts back to the moon and to places no man has ever gone before. Trump's first space policy directive orders NASA to refocus on human exploration and discovery, 45 years after its last Apollo mission to the moon. Trump said the initiative would create many jobs, and he hoped to see a lunar mission serve as a stepping stone to Mars.
We will not only plant our flag and leave our footprint, we will establish a foundation for an eventual mission to Mars and perhaps someday to many worlds beyond.
Little detail was given of the plans, but many on social media were quick to deride it, with some quipping that if America is going to lead in space, then why not send Trump there first?
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. Yeah. Gets wider in the middle. And so Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere, it's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped. Pear-shaped.
In a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
You know, if these guys were around when Columbus set sail, they'd be charter members of the Flat Earth Society. It's the current members of the Flat Earth Society in Congress. And again, I just want everybody to be clear, because sometimes when you listen to the news and you listen to some of these other politicians, they seem a little bit confused about what I'm saying. You know, if some of these folks were around when Columbus set sail, they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat, that's worth reporting. But you might also want to report on a bunch of scientific evidence that seems to support the notion that the world is round.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
2 cell phones, after all. What? Right before your surgery, I asked if you had packed your cell phone, and you said, which one?
When? Skylar, I was medicated. I mean, I could have said the world was flat.
You know what I think? I think you accidentally told the truth.
The pitcher, steroid Santa Claus, kicks and deals. It's a long fly ball going back, and the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the stadium. Oh, Simpson just broke this dream's reality wide open.
There will be an event where Muslims will give up Muhammad and Allah. There will be lukewarm Christians who give up Jesus Christ. There will be Buddhists that give up Buddha. All across the major religions, they will give up worship of their so-called gods in favor of this new deity. And for those of you that follow my channel and others like it, I mean, that is why this whole alien deception or demons manifesting in physical form as aliens is so intriguing. Because I honestly cannot think of a single event that would make worshippers of all the world's religions drop what they are worshiping today in favor of this new deity, unless it were supernatural, it was out of this world. And as Hollywood so eloquently shows us, you know, people do come together in awe and wonder, wanting wisdom and knowledge. I've tied that in together for you guys as well. In the Garden of Adam and Eve, they were tempted by knowledge and wisdom. If you look all throughout the occult and all the videos that I've done for you, all the hand symbol gestures and the all-seeing eye, it is all about occult wisdom and knowledge and enlightenment and rebirth. And so in the end times, it makes sense that the same trick will be played on us, that we will be seeking knowledge and wisdom. And it's almost unanimous that when we think about extraterrestrials, we think of them as having superior knowledge and wisdom. It's a very interesting theory.
Today we're taking a crucial step to secure America's future in space by reviving the National Space Council after it has been dormant almost 25 years, if you can believe it. Today's announcement sends a clear signal to the world that we are restoring America's proud legacy of leadership in space. Our Vice President cares very deeply about space policy, And for good reason. Space exploration is not only essential to our character as a nation, but also our economy and our great nation's security. The human soul yearns for discovery. By unlocking the mysteries of the universe, we unlock truths within ourselves. That's true. Our journey into space will not only make us stronger and more prosperous, but will unite us behind grand ambitions and bring us all closer together. Wouldn't that be nice? But will unite us behind grand ambitions and bring us all closer together. Wouldn't that be nice? Every launch into the skies is another step forward toward a future where our differences seem small against the vast expanse of our common humanity. Sometimes you have to view things from a distance in order to see the real truth. It is America's destiny to be at the forefront of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge. It is America's destiny to be at the forefront of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge.
And so in the end times, it makes sense that the same trick will be played on us, that we will be seeking knowledge and wisdom.
A lot of room out there, right? Infinity and beyond. Infinity. Could be infinity. We really don't know that, but it could be. There's got to be something, but it could be infinity, right? At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space?
Welcome to today's show. I am on an internal microphone, so that is why my voice might sound a little bit different. Plus, I feel like every time of this time of year, I should just say I feel like every couple of weeks, I get some type of a head cold, but that's because of the weather conditions of where I live. And then if I go visit family and stuff, the weather's a lot different. So regardless, please ignore that. It's a bird, it's a plane, or is it Project Bluebeam? As many of you have probably seen this footage already that is supposedly from SpaceX Falcon 9 launch, which offered a dramatic show over Los Angeles Friday night. People going crazy. Oh, wow, look at this. Isn't it so cool, people are saying? This is just the beginning. Because if you're somebody who studied Project Bluebeam, and you're somebody who studies NASA, and you know the lies and the deceit of NASA that is NASA, it doesn't take much discernment to see that this was some type of holographic image in the sky. At least in my opinion, it was. Now, I know a lot of people out there who are quote-unquote flat earthers are going crazy over this stuff from what I've read and what I've seen. But it is kind of funny in a sense, right? Because if they're shooting a rocket up, how come the rocket, isn't it supposed to go straight up into the sky, right? Into space? Or is it supposed to fly like an airplane from left to right? Because the thing is just flying across the sky from left to right. And where did it land? Somewhere in the ocean? Did they want to tell anyone that? Let me read a little bit about what this was for those of you who don't know. SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base at 5:27 p.m. It was carrying 10 satellites, they claim, to low Earth orbit. The satellites will be part of a constellation operated by Iridium Communications. All 10 satellites successfully deployed, with the last one deploying about 1 hour and 12 minutes after liftoff. The rocket's first stage was previously used during a mission in June. Officials had warned the launch could be seen across Southern California and beyond, but on the day before the holiday weekend, the streaks of light against the blue sky were something to behold. I mean, look how they talk about this, like this is some type of wonderful thing. Ooh, ah. I mean, can you imagine when Project Bluebeam actually comes to pass? Right? Like, we're sitting here going, oh, it's going to wake people up. They're going to be like, whoa, look at this. People who have been talking about this are right, or, oh, this is, something's going on here. No, they're just going to ooh and ah over it, just like most people who recorded this were oohing and ahhing over what it looked like. Okay? And to me, it looked like nothing more than a test run for Project Bluebeam. That's my take on the subject. So many people pulled over their cars to take photos and videos of the site. The Los Angeles Fire Department put out an advisory saying the mysterious lights in the sky was the Vandenberg launch. I mean, and you could see these videos here. You see the smoke, and then you see this big thing. I mean, I've heard people say it looks like a whale. I've heard people say it looks like, you know, all right, I won't say because there's kids watching, but you can look at this thing and it looks so abnormal. To me, this looks like what we can expect to see from Operation Bluebeam, where they, remember now, Project Bluebeam, I should say, it's not just going to be, you know, these images like they've claimed of Messiah in the sky. There's also going to be images of, you know, UFOs and spacecrafts and things like that. This right here looks completely like what you can expect. A bunch of things that look like this. Obviously, it won't look exactly like this, or then people might get suspicious. But with this type of clear, crisp imagery, flying low in the sky like that, that's what I would expect it to look like. This is SpaceX's 18th launch of the year, they claim. And I mean, people are just posting about it all over the place. I'm not talking about truthers. I'm talking about people out there who think that this is some type of an incredible ordeal, you know, and then you get these, like, just, you know, this really weird message from Elon Musk, who is the, you know, the guy behind SpaceX, saying nuclear alien UFO from North Korea. So he's poking fun at, you know, conspiracy theorists and people out there who are clearly aware of, you know, the deception of NASA, the deception of SpaceX, who are aware of Project Bluebeam, who are aware of what the plans of the New World Order are. So he's, you know, poking fun, saying alien UFO, and then mixing in North Korea with the tension for World War III. I mean, it's unbelievable how obnoxious these people are and in our faces. But like I said, they use humor all the time to deflect attention off of this stuff. So take a look at some of these images and just look how crisp they are. And then look at the response from people. Instead of being disturbed, instead of, you know, saying there's something not right about this, people are just amazed. They're like, we're going to go to Mars and we're going to go to Pluto in the future and we're going to discover new life and ooh and ah, you know, this thing that's flying from left to right across the sky instead of what it's, you know, you would think it was supposed to go straight up, right? And then, like, the, you know, like, this is going to be the beginning of some amazing, you know, SpaceX's, and we know SpaceX is going to continue to roll out this demonic technology and all this crap, and this, you know, this illusion of, you know, they have and NASA has that we go to space and, oh, yeah, and all this stuff's going on, and let's keep advancing in technology. This is all part of the New World Order's plan, but don't think Project Bluebeam has been dropped, because it hasn't been. I just did a video the other day. Right? Is that a coincidence that 2 or 3 days before this, that they released, you know, Pentagon information about UFOs that were picked up by pilots? I mean, some of the most stupid, ridiculous footage you could possibly see, and they're like, look at it, that's not normal, that's UFO. Oh, then the Pentagon comes out and continues to give people what they want to hear, which is this fake deception that aliens exist. Well, we know that demons exist, aliens don't. And they're trying to convince you that there's life on other planets and all this stuff. So that comes out, and then days later, you know, they're rolling out this Falcon 9 launch and putting on, you know, deliberately putting on a show, because they could really have run this thing over the ocean somewhere or wherever. They deliberately ran it over Southern California. They wanted people to film it. They wanted people to take pictures. They wanted people to just be like, in such awe of how beautiful it looked and, oh, amazing. Because that's what they're going to do with Project Bluebeam. It's going to be a show, right? And like I said, it's all psychological. People aren't going to be afraid of this stuff, just like the Mark of the Beast. Everybody's like, oh, when the Mark of the Beast comes, then everyone's going to wake up because we've been told, and they're going to be afraid. They're not going to want to go to hell. They're going to embrace all this stuff. They are indoctrinated with a system that promotes and, you know, embellishes and loves all of this type of crap. The technology and the advancement. They're told that, oh, it's an event, you know, we're the smartest race. And I mean, like, we couldn't be a dumber society as a whole. This is the dumbest, you know, dumbest time period to be alive with the dumbest human beings because of the mind control, because of the psychological operation that is being done to everyone. And remember, when I talk about this stuff, all you have to do is read the countless articles that they push out there on these topics. You're not just looking for the same narrative as far as, oh, they're pushing the gay agenda, oh, they're pushing this agenda. Look at the theme and look at the way that it's being expressed, right? You look at some of these articles. Wow, talk about some Friday Night Lights. A SpaceX Falcon rocket lit up the evening sky over Southern California last night. Oh, it was so beautiful. I mean, this is, space.com. Oh, and then they get comments from people caught off guard and had no idea what was happening at first. Must say, it was one of the coolest moments of my life. I mean, this is the mindset people are going to have when they roll out Project Bluebeam. And don't think that they're not going to. Okay? Because this has been a plan for a long time that the CIA has been working on. And it was never a matter of when would the technology be ready for them to do it. Because the technology has been ready. It's always been a question of when will the masses be dumb enough into accepting it? When will the masses look at this instead of being fearful and afraid, think that it's cool and awesome? And now is that time period. People look at this stuff, they're not afraid of anything anymore because they're completely protected by their government. You can't even push somebody or you go to jail for 10 years, okay? But, you can't even say anything or it's hate speech. So everybody's protected. They're not afraid of stuff like this. They feel protected by their government. And when they see stuff like this, they've been indoctrinated through movies that, with aliens and things like that. The theme in a lot of the alien movies is what? Like, oh, can we get along? Can we coexist? Or, oh, don't be afraid of the unknown and all this kind of crap. And then to see this type of imagery, this type of holographic imagery in the sky, think about all the stuff they've indoctrinated people with over time, with fireworks, with laser shows in the sky, right? We know they've had the technology, but when people see those types of things, it's an ooh and ah experience for them. So just imagine what this is going to be like when it goes down. And if people don't feel threatened by it, they're going to embrace it. They're going to think it's cool. They're going to be tweeting it, right? Instead of running and going, oh my gosh, there's a problem. All these people, are going to be photographing it, taking pictures in front of it, tweeting it, putting it on Instagram, putting it on Facebook. That's how this is all going to go down. And you could just go through all these articles. There's millions of people who posted about it. There's, all of the people in Southern California, for the most part, took photos of it on their phone, uploaded it all over the place. And all of these mainstream outlets have picked up on it, and they're pushing it out in a positive narrative. Nobody's going, is this safe? Is this even a real rocket? Where are the people who are examining this asking if it's actually a real rocket, right? They don't have anybody questioning it. They're just going, ooh and ah. They're not going, this looks like a hologram. They're not going, this looks fake. This looks like they're projecting something into the sky. They're just going, how cool, a rocket launch right across Southern California. That's scary to me that people are thinking on that level, that they're embracing stuff like this. Because think about how much more deception is to come and how people are going to eat this stuff up because it looks cool. Because it's a good photo op for them, right, to post on their Facebook account. Because that's the mindset that people have. So when Bluebeam comes down, and, like I said, they've had the technology to do it, it's just been a matter of when is the right time to roll it out where everybody will be on board and accept it. And now is the time, because look how stupid of a society we live in, where everything's a photo op for them. Nothing is, oh, this could be something bad for us. Oh, the government would do something to hurt us. No, they don't believe any of that. They think that we're all crazy people living in our parents' basements and that we have nothing better to do with our time. And all we're trying to do is warn them. So this is the thing that occurred last night, this SpaceX rocket launch, which people are just, drooling over like it's some wonderful thing. You don't hear too many people questioning if it's a hologram or not, if it's even real, because they just come out and they go, no, it's a SpaceX rocket launch, and everybody goes, oh, okay. Nobody goes, where did it land? Where did it, what other stuff? How come why was it looking like that? Why was it so clear? Why, to me, it boggles my mind, but at the same time, it doesn't, because I know what a stupid society we live in nowadays. So if you haven't seen it, you can check out video of it. I just put some photographs of it in here. But just more of the same. Be prepared, because at some time Project Bluebeam is going to be rolled out. I thank you for listening to today's show, and I personally think that this was just another test for it. Again, I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.
Cape Canaveral Airport. And coming up very shortly, the Center Corps will be attempting its landing on the autonomous spaceport drone ship.
You may also be hearing the second engine cut off. Oh, check on your screen. Sometimes this footage goes out when it approaches the drone ship and the heavy vibrations make it lose signal. We're crossing our fingers that's not the case right now.
Stage 2, nominal parking orbit insertion.
So it looks like the landing is happening at the moment. We have lost signal. We're hoping that signal comes back shortly.
Oh, man. Yeah, as Michael mentioned earlier with the vibrations of the rocket and how it shakes up the cameras that are on the drone ship, sometimes we do lose signal or shakes up the antennas.
Oh, and we've just gotten confirmation.
Oh.
In case there are any conspiracy theorists out there, how would you prove to us that you're in zero gravity?
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Mind control to Major Tom. Mind control to Major Tom. Hang the green screen up and put your wires on. Mind control to Major Tom. Mind control to Major Tom. Earth is flat and there's a dome above us all. This is mind control to Major Tom. We've fooled the human race. Now the existence of God is so far away. Mind control to Major Tom. Mind control to Major Tom. Earth is flat and there's a dome above us all.
Although we weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it. And the light is shining through like never before, filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge that the path will be a little easier next time.
They claim that we live on a ball, but it's flat and it's not moving or spinning at all. Why you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that, you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go. History has been rewritten by winners of wars. The Jesuit order, Khazars, Freemasons, and more. They pulled the veil over our eyes, and it's time to awaken. Through organized indoctrination, our minds have been taken. It's time we take our power back and we rescue our people. The Vatican and the bankers are like Resident Evil. They may have had the greatest plan that was ever concocted, but Illuminati never thought that they'd ever be spotted. They're manufacturing reality all in our heads. They tell us if the earth is flat, then we'll fall off the edge. But if it is a spinning ball, we won't fall off it then. And gravity is our imaginary magic friend. Why is water always flat when unmanipulated? Why are pictures of the earth computer generated? Why you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that, you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go.
Dear NASA, it's becoming 100% crystal clear that you and the other space programs that are in operation are connected and are deceiving the entire world. More and more people are waking up every single day, and we are now able to see right through you.